Ang panahon ng patriarka sa Pilipinas ay patapos na.
Father Vicente Balaguer was born in Alicante, Spain on January 19, 1851. He joined the Society of Jesus on July 30, 1890. He went to the Philippines in 1894. He was one of the Jesuit priests who visited Rizal's last hours in Fort Santiago and claimed that he managed to persuade Rizal to denounce Masonry and return to the Catholic fold. His first missionary assignment was in Surigao, but in 1896, he was transferred to Dapitan. A year later, he was in Davao. He founded the Catechetical Center in Tondo, Manila. In 1917, when he had returned to Spain, an affidavit executed that proves he was one solemnized the marriage of Jose Rizal and Josephine Bracken. Balaguer said that he received two original texts of the Retraction, the first one which came from Father P, the changes which you made, and the other one, Retraction, which is the Archbishop. This was the exact copy of Retraction written and signed by Rizal. Father Vicente Balaguer was an author of Understanding the Gospel. The Gospel, often known as the Good News, is a theological idea found in many faiths. The Gospel is a message of redemption by heavenly person, a Savior who has given peace or other advantages to people in ancient Roman imperial worship and now in Christianity. The term denoted a form of sacrifice or ceremonial dedication intended to honor the gods upon hearing good news in ancient Greek religion. The religious concept dates back at least as far as Greece classical era. It is a central message of Christianity today, in which written accounts of the life and teaching of Jesus Christ are known as Gospels. The religious notion may be traced back to the classical period in Greece. It is known that Roman authors adapted it at the end of the 1st century BCE. In Christian thereafter, it is a key theme of Christianity today, and written version of Jesus Christ's lives and teaching are known as Gospels.
The real name of Palma is Rafael Palma Y. Velasquez. Rafael Palma was born on October 24, 1874. He was married to Carolina Ocampo. He was a Filipino politician, lawyer, writer, educator, and a famous Freemason. He became the fourth president of the University of the Philippines. He was later elected as a senator under the Nacionalista Party, consistently representing the 4th District in both the 1916 and 1919 senatorial polls. He was the author of Biografía de Rizal, a work on the life of the national hero which won a literary contest in 1938 sponsored by the Commonwealth government. He enrolled in June 1882 in a public school in Tondo. In 1885, he began his study at the Ateneo de Manila and graduated with a Bachelor of Arts degree. In 1892, he began to study law at the University of Santo Tomas, and while in the university, he was employed in the office of the Bureau of Lands. Instead of joining the revolutionists in the field, he entered the government service and continued his studies. The books that written of Rafael Palma is The Woman and the Right to Vote, The New Mentality, The Pride of the Malay Race.
The historical background of the study. Jose Rizal's debut work entitled Noli Me Tangere, or in English, it translates to Touch Me Not, the Social Cancer, was written during his time spent in Europe. The Philippines prohibited the book Noli Me Tangere because of its subject matter, yet some copies made it into the country illegally. The book focuses on the negative element of Spain's colonial control in the Philippines, with the special attention paid to the role of the Catholic priest. In 1887, Jose Rizal returned to the Philippines after writing this work, but his time there was cut short when he was arrested for writing a novel that angered members of Catholic Church despite his apologies. So he went back to Europe and kept writing, eventually publishing his second book entitled El Filibusterismo, or The Reign of Greed, in 1891. He also wrote an essay for La Solidaridad, a newspaper sympathetic to the propaganda drive to promote Spanish integration. After being exiled to Dapitan in 1892 for his reform-minded writing, Jose Rizal returned to the Philippines. He did not let his exile deter him, however, and founded La Liga Filipina, a non-violent reform society with roots in the La Solidaridad propaganda movement. Jose Rizal was still in exile when he met a girl named Josephine Bracken. He fell in love with her, and later they decided to get married. As they asked for the marriage license, or what we call the marriage certificate, the request was denied because of the problem he had with the church when he wrote the novel Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo. In 1896, a nationalist secret society called Katipunan rose up against Spain. Jose Rizal has nothing to do with the group, and he did not agree with its violent method. However, he was arrested soon after and put on trial, where he was found guilty of sedition and sentenced to death. Rizal signed a letter titled The Retraction a few hours before he was shot, in which he publicly declared his conversion to Catholicism and re-announced his previous writings criticizing the Catholic Church. So in addition to the historical background of the study, in 1935, Father Manuel Garcia found a letter in Manila Archive of the Catholic hierarchy.
The content of Rizal's retraction narrative was Jose Rizal's final hour of life. It details all of Rizal's sacrifices, including those that were obvious to everybody. It particularly highlights how he fought without the use of tools or weapons like swords, relying instead on his extensive knowledge and critical thinking skills. The priest persuaded Rizal to issue a retraction just hours before he passed away, so that he might wed Josephine Bracken, carry out his husbandly responsibilities, and pass away as a Catholic. There were two sides of the story. Some people thought he had recanted, while others said it was all part of a plot by the Spanish to discredit him as a hero who had done much to bring about Filipino independence. Some claim that there is a proof Rizal did sign the retraction, the priest's testimonies, and the retraction's letter. The letter was lost the day Rizal was killed, but archivist Fodder, 39 years later in 1935, the original document, retraction, was Rizal's discovered in the Archdiocese's archives. Garcia Manuel. As Rizal was opposed to Catholicism in everything he wrote, it is improbable that he composed the letter. Before passing away, did Dr. Jose Rizal apologize to the Catholic Church for his mistakes, or was everything all a hoax? The information that has been uncovered, however, points to the fact that our national hero did apologize for his mistakes and wrongdoings toward the Catholic Church. Witnesses' accounts from those who were present at the incident, including former teachers of Dr. Jose Rizal, are included in the evidence. The retraction letter itself is also part of the documentation that Father Manuel Garcia uncovered in 1935. And after reading it, I would likewise conclude the conclusion that Dr. Jose Rizal did fact correct his mistakes.
Contribution and relevance of the documents in understanding the grand narrative of the Philippine history. Rizal Retraction. Rizal Retraction was unfinished debate. Way back time of Rizal, the Philippines is in the Spain colonial control. And the priest of the church, a lot of saying when it comes to decision making in the government. Jose Rizal wrote two novels, No Lumitangere and El Filibusterismo. Through the novels that he wrote, the highlights was to open the eyes of Filipinos in reality, specifically how they suffered toward Spaniards. One of sequence of the novel identify how huge was the influence of the priests in the government. When Rizal books in novel found out that has a lot of negative matter and special attention to the role of the priest. Catholic Church, Rizal was being arrested despite of his apologies to the church. They banned the books that Rizal wrote, exposing the abuses of the friars and the Spanish authority. When a nationalist group called Katipunan rose up against Spain, Rizal did not agree with the violent method of the group and nothing to do with it. Soon Rizal was arrested, tried and sentenced to death by Spanish court-martial after being implicated as a leader of Philippine Revolution. But before Rizal died, there's a controversy that he wrote a retraction in which he took back his word on his novel. A few hours before he was shot, he signed a document stating that he was a Catholic and retracted all his writing against the church. Rizal's life was dedicated to free his oppressed people. He's against with the friars who abused their authority and religion to become wealthy. The contribution and relevance of documents in the Philippine history are if the novels of Filipinos can betray by his own cause. It renders useless of his writing in great deeds. It also casts doubt on the characters in honor of the rest of us. Filipinos, if today many of us have no faith in our own people, it because of fronts like this. The Rizal Retraction is no difference of some government official that intend to do a corrupt instead to do their job. That's why when no one like Rizal against a corrupt official, that person will continue and abuse their authority. That's why we Filipino become wise and smart in choosing the right person that we will be elected and soon to be our leader. Whether Jose Rizal did retract or not, the experts argued that the paper representing his retraction was more result of Rizal having the moral strength to own up to his errors. Rizal standing as a great hero with such brilliance is untouched even though it is true that he felt regret and reverted back to his faith. Rizal stated in the documentary Ang Bayaning Third Book that whether he retracts or not, it will not change what he has already done or what his work have already achieved. Played Rizal in the field, and whether or not Rizal was a great Filipino is irrelevant, according to former Senator Jose Jokno, regardless of whether he passed away a Catholic or apostate. Rizal is still remembered as the hero who desired death, whether he was a Mason or a Catholic, to prove to those who mistrust our patriotism that we know how to die for our duty and our principles.
Do you believe Rizal retracted or not?
Oo, naniniwala ako na si Rizal ay nag-retract sapagkat minarkahan niya ang isang kasulatan na binabawi niya ang mga sinulat niya sa libro at sa lahat ng mga ginawa niya.
Sa pagpapatunay na si Rizal ay nag-retract, sa kadahilanang ito ay nangumpisal, nangumunyon, nagpamisa, at nagparosaryo na isinasaad ni Padre Balaguer.
Si Rizal ay nag-retract sapagkat maraming ebidensyang dokumento ang nagbibigay katotohanan bago siya mamatay. Ito ang nagpapatunay na tumiluwas siya sa kanyang isinabi at isinulat. Dahil dito, naipakasal siya sa kanyang iniibig na si Josephine Bracken at para masigurado ang pangakong reforma ng pamamahala ng Espanyol ng mga kababayan niyang Pilipino kung kaya't ang patunay lamang ng isang dokumento na isinulat ni Dr. Jose Rizal ay may lagtan niya na siya ay nag-retract.
Hindi ako naniniwala na si Dr. Jose Rizal ay nag-retract. Sapagkat ito ay nag-retract, bakit hindi ibinigay ng simbahan ng original copy na ito ay nag-retract na?
Para sa akin, hindi nag-retract si Jose Rizal sapagkat hindi ito nailibing ng maayos. Kung siya ay na-retract, dapat man lang nagkaroon ng misa at maayos na libing para sa kanya as a Catholic tradition.
Kung hindi nagpakasal si Rizal kay Josephine Bracken, hindi dapat siya nag-retract kung gayon. Kung kaya, kay Josephine Bracken nagsimula ang lahat ng ito.